You're watching VSLive here by StarCityGames.com. Hope you enjoyed our new intro that we just rolled out.
I didn't even see it.
Yeah,
I haven't
seen it either. We're on the inside.
Yeah, they just told us we got a new intro. You're gonna have to wait an extra 5 seconds. I was just like, man, I got places to be.
Yeah, our time is very valuable.
Yeah. Yeah. So what are we doing today, Ross?
We are playing Magic the Gathering.
Great. Is there any new set that just came out, perhaps, that we should talk more about?
I'm not sure. Nobody pays me to keep up with those things, so I just have no idea. There one?
Pretty sure someone does pay you to keep up with those things.
Oh.
And yeah.
Okay. Then in that case, yes, there is a new set.
Okay, what is it, and what cards are we using today? Come on, man. Come on.
So, as we all know, Ravnica Allegiance is set to be released on Friday. We have an open this weekend on the SCG Tour in Indianapolis, which is going to bring you all the sweet new Ravnica Allegiance action with Cedric and Patrick and the debut of Jerry Thompson and Brian Gottlieb in the booth. So that's going to be great. Make sure you check that out. That's going to be right here at twitch.tv/SCG Tour.
This is going to be the best open weekend of the year, I bet.
You think?
It's the first standard open in over a year. I get to win with probably the most broken card since Aetherworks Marvel.
And it's one of the best cities that the SCG Tour goes to in Indianapolis.
And I get to hang out with Jerry and Brian G. And Patrick and Cedric. Who could ask for more? Not me. Anyway, so this week, Tuesday and Thursday, we're going to be basically switching roles each day. First, today, I'm going to be taking my Temur Reclamation deck through the hoops to see just how good it is, if I can actually afford to take it to the tournament this weekend. I know I've been boasting about it for the past 3 weeks because I think Wilderness Reclamation is messed up. I even tweeted last night that I think there is a good chance that either Wilderness Reclamation or Nexus of Fate is banned within the next year. I think that the card Wilderness Reclamation is absurd, and I think the play patterns with Nexus of Fate are degenerate and unhealthy. I am curious your thoughts.
So you say that either Wilderness Reclamation or Nexus of Fate is likely to get banned, but your deck today has 0 copies of one of those cards.
Right. So the banned versions are annoying to play against. I think Nexus of Fate particularly goes well with Teferi, Hero of Dominaria, and not necessarily Wilderness Reclamation itself. But when you combine all 3 of those elements together, they make for some very, I don't want to say
repetitive
feel bads, but it's like, okay, the first time you cast Emrakul the Promised End, you're like, holy crap, I took my opponent's turn. I have a 13/13. I spent 11 mana to do this thing. And then, a month later, it's like, okay, I spent 8 mana to do this thing. It is literally the only thing my deck does, and I do it every game, and there's nothing you can do about it because the rest of my deck is literally just hyper-interactive garbage and a bunch of spiders that block everything. And so, I in this instance, we see Wilderness Reclamation become this turbo mana generator, and the fact that it encourages you to play at instant speed means that cards like Nexus of Fate, cards like Expansion Explosion, just go significantly up in playability and strength. And I don't know. All I know is that yesterday I played a game, and my opponent had a Teferi on the battlefield, and he cast a Wilderness Reclamation, and I conceded to the Wilderness Reclamation and not the Teferi.
Yeah. I mean, Reclamation is definitely a busted mana engine when it gets online. It has some exploitability and vulnerability to negates and duresses and things. Like if you don't have the payoff with the Reclamation use of a bunch of mana, that doesn't do anything.
Right.
And so I think you're going to see a lot of decks packing a lot of those kind of cards in the sideboard, which incidentally makes things worse for control. But we are going to put the deck through its paces against 3 decks that I think will be well represented this weekend at Indianapolis. First up, I have a Sultai Midrange deck. This is mostly a Golgari deck that you'll be familiar with from last season. We're touching blue for Hydroid Crisis, which I think is a really good card in the deck. Just good at any point in the curve. Lets you have a little bit more juice in your deck as the game goes along without sacrificing the strong early to mid game, because it can come down on turn 4 and just be your 2/2 that draws an extra card.
Yeah, I mean, I think that element, that exact thing, the 4 mana 2/2 flyer that gains life and draws a card, is so good that people don't understand that it's basically just Cloud Blazer at 4 mana. Like that 1 point of life, that 1 card, it replaces itself. It's not quite. I'm exaggerating slightly, but only slightly. At 5 mana, it's a 3/3 flyer that gains life and draws a card, and I think that's arguably better than Cloud Blazer.
And at 6 mana, it's way
Busted. Yeah,
Yeah.
and it just scales up so well. And I mean, as far as all the new cards are concerned, I think Hydrocrassus has really impressed me compared to what I initially thought. And I wrote an entire article the first day it was previewed.
better.
I thought it was really good, and it turns out it's just better than that. And if you play it alongside something like Domri or Rhythm of the Wild, and you can give it haste, like that's pretty disgusting. And if you're just playing a bunch of mana generators like Llanowar Elves and Incubation Druid, like it just gets so big so fast.
Yeah, I completely agree. I actually have an article today about 5 different cards from Ravnica Allegiance that I underrated initially. Hydro Crisis on the list.
Well, yeah, I clowned you with it twice.
So I think a worthy splash here. We got some negates in the sideboard as well.
Yes.
But other than that, a pretty typical Golgari deck, and we'll see how that goes. So we got the mid-range fight up first. Then you're going to be put to the test against a low-to-the-ground aggressive deck. This is a red deck that we got the list from Tom Ross.
Yes, the Tom the Boss
So
Ross.
you know it's great.
Yeah.
So probably the first place list from this weekend. We'll just play it a week early and see how you do.
No, we used to film these like in advance of posting them, and usually they were like a week before the results. So we'd always do these called shots, and now you get to see the actual called shot. The called shot is Tom Ross is going to win the tournament. That's just going to happen.
Could be a good week for Mono Red.
Yeah.
And then the third match will be pitting you against a control deck. This is Esper Control. Now, we've talked about Jeskai probably still remaining as the top dog, but if you look at some of the early lists that are coming out of Magic Online and what people's experiences are in Arena, it looks like Esper Control is actually the more popular version. Maybe people are still trying to try out new cards, but maybe Mortify and Kai's Wrath are just really well positioned in this early metagame. So
I mean, I do think that Mortify is particularly good. Almost every deck
Agreed.
has some enchantment that is not necessarily integral to the game plan, but functions on some unique way that you can't really interact with outside of a disenchant. Like Ixalan's Binding, for example, is a really powerful tool for like a mid-range white deck, and it can really shut down a deck featuring Teferi. Like I know when I was playing Jeskai Control, Ixalan's Binding on my Teferi was one of the things that I was most afraid of, and one of the reasons why I almost always played like 1 or 2 Blink of an Eye just so I could unlock my Teferi for the turn if that happened. And being able to play Mortify as your generic 3-mana spot removal spell that also doubles as an answer to Ixalan's Binding, and answer Search for Askanta, Experimental Frenzy, the list goes on and on. Like almost every color has one really important enchantment that most decks of that color play.
Yep, there's a million of them. I agree. So
and green just plays a bunch of creatures, so it just kills every one of their things.
Yeah. So we're seeing a bit of Esper. We'll pit your deck up against Control. So we're running the gamut, not only of decks that I think are going to be popular this weekend and successful, but also a lot of different archetypes. So there should be a really good test for the Reclamation deck, and I'm ready to get to it.
Yeah, let's field 2 questions before we get started.
Well, right now we only have one, but
Crap.
Histeus was curious. Do you feel like we're at a high power point for enchantments? It seems like every deck plays some, and is it probably a mistake not to try to play some amount of them?
I mean, it just depends on your color combo. Like this, Golgari Splashing Hydrocrassus deck doesn't really have an enchantment worth playing, I don't think. Not that comes to the top of my head.
Hadana's Climb is not really something this kind of deck is interested in.
Right,
even though it's
but
something
Hadana's Climb
play.
is very good.
Yep.
And I do think that there are some decks that could play it and put it to good use. I mean, we've seen a lot of these explore strategies kind of adopt these like Simic-y type +1/+1 counter stuff just because of the synergy with that and Explore and Wild Growth Walker and such. So
we do have one more.
All right.
From Cursor ANR. What's your opinion on whether Absorb is worth it over Sinister Sabotage in Esper/Band Control?
Well, I think... Okay, you go ahead.
I like Absorb. I think the 3 life is super important in a deck that's trying to make it to the long game. So as long as you have white in your deck, I would tend to err towards that one. And I think that's what we've seen.
Agree.
Sorry.
Yeah. No, that's fine.
Just agree.
Okay. I think Absorb is very good. All right, let's go and just get to the match, huh?
Make sure you get your questions in over there to Robert in the booth. Tag at SCG Tour in the chat, and he will select out the ones that he wants us to answer. So make them good.
I roll?
Sure.
Or odd or even.
Let's do odd or even.
How about I just go first?
Each roll 2
since
dice.
It's me on the spotlight today.
No. I'll take odds.
8.
And I have an 8. That's a 9, so that's 17.
What What just happened?
We each roll. We did odd or
That's
even.
not
You know
how
how
this
the odd or
works.
even thing where each roll 1 die. I said we each do 2 dice.
Okay, whatever, dude.
I said that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you just scummed me, but it's fine.
Overgrown
I'll
two to
always be
go.
adding in these new things. Your turn. Actually, I'm gonna shock. I'm at 18.
Okay. Are you gonna shock my Norfolk Branch Walker too?
Let's see what you get.
An island.
Island.
It's land. Tells you what it is right in the title.
Is land. I'm gonna
It
cast
is land.
Opt. So I drew a card that is not going to be good for approximately 5 turns, but I think it will be good. So
None of your cards cost 6 mana. It's probably an explosion.
go.
Ooh, okay. Well, play an island and lead with Jade Light. Where
Okay.
have I seen this before? Wild Growth Walker, I do not want. And I have an Overgrown Tomb. So we got a 3-2.
Go.
Attack you for 3.
I'm going to Lightning Strike it.
Tilt.
Now, Lightning Strike is a card that I've added to the deck recently over Lava Coil because of how well it works with Wilderness Reclamation. Even though I think it is significantly worse than Lava Coil in the current meta, I think just being an instant just pushes over the top because that turn where you cast Reclamation, you really need something to do. And if your removal is Lava Coil, a lot of times you have to lean Lava Coil instead of Reclamation. But now I get to do both. Elf?
Yeah.
Okay.
Faster.
You have main deck negate over there.
That would be great.
Reclamation.
Sure.
And a turn untap. Your turn.
Woodland Cemetery, Carnage Tyrant.
Well, that's a
Let's
scary
put
one.
him under some
Yeah,
under
that's
some
that's
pressure
some
here.
immense pressure. So we got to kill him quick. Chemisters. Luckily, we can kill him pretty quick as long as he doesn't have much going on.
I don't like that.
Let's play a Primal Amulet.
Uh-oh.
And
Uh-oh.
we'll float a mana during my end step, untap. I will cast Chemisters. I'm going to pitch a negate.
That's probably smart.
And pass turn. I probably messed up there. Oh well. Might just be dead to Carney Boy.
Attack you for 8.
Yeah, I'm at 10.
You're at 10.
I was 18. I shocked on turn 1. You attacked me for 8.
Forgot
I thought you were the math guy.
I forgot about I forgot about the shock.
Sure. Does that significantly change things?
It might.
Okay.
Yeah, I think with Todd at 10, I would rather get both things down. So I'll play a Branch Walker.
Sure.
That can go into the graveyard. I'll play a Forest, and I'll play it. Or I guess I shouldn't have tapped this island.
Yeah. No, I get it. So
yeah.
you get a 2/2 Crassus.
Yep.
So
And I draw a card and gain a life, so I'm at 21.
Yep.
You can go. So now, if Todd only has 1 shock or lightning strike, I still have lethal. I guess if I just play 4/4 Krasis, shock or lightning strike still doesn't. So maybe I'm supposed
You
to
wanna
just play
take
a
it back?
4/4. No, you're good.
I mean, you can take it back. All right, end step, float 6. All right.
So we're doing a 6 point.
6 point fireball on this. Then you draw 6 cards.
That's a lot of cards.
Okay.
Got another removal spell.
I do.
Tilt.
I just drew 6 cards. What do you think this is?
Already played 2. How many you got?
All right.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Yeah, that'll transfer.
Lightning strike this.
Ooh. I guess see copying the... Yeah. You'd rather copy the Radical Idea than the Lightning Strike? That makes sense.
Well, I can't copy either now.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway,
yeah. Once you
go.
transform, they cost 2 mana. Okay. That makes sense.
Go.
I'm going. Don't think I have any way to interact at this point, so I guess I will find back Branchwalker Crisis again.
Okay.
Attack for 7.
I'll go to 3.
Play Branchwalker.
Yep.
I guess that can stay. I probably should have done Crisis first, but whatever. So this is still a 2/2, so I gain another life. I'm at 22, and you're at 3. And pass the turn.
So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 16, 12, 24 set. And you're at what?
22.
All right. Well, I just need to peel an explosion, but I think I actually have a chance to draw into something off of Radical, and I think I need to just shock you for 4
So I'm
to
at
give
18.
me a shot. So. Oh, we drew it. Moved in step. Flow special mana. Now explosion you for quadrillion. All right, so this is 3, 6, 7, 8, 24. So wait, so 8, 16, 24.
36.
So no. It's 3, 6, 7, 14, 21. Oh wait, no. I'm stupid.
You have
7,
8 total
14,
mana, 16 after untapping, so you're casting for
12,
12 and you're copying
36.
it twice. Yeah, so it's 36.
Yeah, 36.
I was right.
You're right. Sorry, I was just look, man. It's hard.
it's
And I'll
not
let
that
you,
hard.
You can draw 36 though. Is that you want to draw? You can have 36.
Does that deck me?
I don't know. It's pretty darn close. All right.
Well, 19. Yeah, it comes close.
I mean, I kind of wish that I had missed on that one turn and then hit off the copied Radical Idea. Do I even copy the Radical Idea? Because is a double up even enough?
So if you spent 2 mana on a Radical Idea, including 1 special mana, then you're down to casting it for 10 and copying it once. So that would be 20.
Yeah.
So that would still be enough.
14. Cool.
Maybe I should have started doing the math because Crisis might have been relevant if you didn't have the shock.
Maybe.
Like if you don't have the shock and you have to Radical and copy it, then you have to can't copy it, and I get to deny you a draw step if I had gone for a few extra life points.
Interesting. All right. Well, get your questions into Rob at SCG Tour in the chat. Ask us about what just happened because that was great. And also, we're going to get to sideboards, but we're going to take a short break while we do that. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
And we're back with sideboarding here for Sultai Midrange against Temur Reclamation. I think everybody knows the 7 cards that I'm bringing in. Probably could have just left them off the mat. Duress and Negate, all both very good in this matchup and help replace some of our bad removal spells. We've got Cast Downs, we've got Chupacabras. I'm leaving in 1 Contempt because I think this sort of controlling sideboard plan is going to be common. We do have Vivian Reed that already answers Niv Mizzet, but the Contempt leaves us an out to the Singleton Ral. Maybe I want a Plaguecrafter. I don't know. There's one on the sideboard. So one mediocre card that can answer something that they bring in, and I'm leaving in 1 Find because the post-sideboard game should involve more removal, and it would go a little bit longer because I have Disruption, so the actual card advantage is probably better in the post-board games than it is in Game 1 because it was not very good there.
No, I mean, you had it for a long time, and you just had stuff to do every turn. It's possible that the more cards like Hydroid Crassus you play, the worse Find Finality becomes, because all your cards kind of replace themselves, like your Jade Light Rangers and your Crassus. I mean, even stuff like Chupacabra, you get that immediate value, and maybe you're just a little too resource flooded.
Yeah, you just never run out of stuff. I actually had the Find pretty early in Game 1 and wanted to cast it just to use my mana when I played Llanowar Elves, but if I get back a 2-drop that can pressure you and play Llanowar Elves instead, I just show you that I have Carnage Tyrant, and then you probably would have shocked it if you could.
Yeah.
I just didn't want you to do that.
That's fair.
So I just didn't play the Find.
All right, so for my side, we actually have a lot of options, and I'm still figuring out how to sideboard with this deck. After sideboard, are we a control deck? Are we still a combo deck? How much interaction do we want? And I think that the answer lies somewhere in the middle. We want to have this really powerful engine with Reclamation and Primal Amulet, and even to an extent Treasure Map. But we also want a little more in the way of cards that are by themselves heavy hitters. Star of Extinction is an insanely good card in this matchup, being able to take out Carnage Tyrant, sometimes Memorial to Folly, as well as all the Planeswalkers that can be thrown at me. And for the most part, it's just going to be the best card to draw once I hit 7 mana in most spots. We're going a little less instant speed after sideboard, so it's possible that even siding out Wilderness Reclamation in favor of this is better, and just leaving in Primal Amulet as this kind of like draw engine / finisher card. But I don't want to cut Wilderness Reclamation from my deck because that's kind of the whole point of this deck today anyway. So I'm really at a choice here. I don't think Blink is good. I don't think Negate is all that good when you're getting hit with a bunch of duresses. So it's really just, of these other 4 cards, what do I cut? Is it some combination of them? And I think that Lightning Strike is just a little too good at buying me time early, as well as when he ticks down a Vivian, being able to kill it. And I think that Radical Idea is actually better than Opt in this deck, just because it allows you to transform Primal Amulet more quickly. So we're going to actually cut Opt here in favor of basically just using Treasure Map as my pseudo Opt. This a little more powerful as the game goes. And we're going to play this way more like a control deck after board with a couple of engines to really grind Ross out. Of course, Carnage Tyrant is going to be a problem if I don't draw Star or enough mana to cast Star. So I'm curious to see if I can kill him again before Carnage Tyrant takes over.
Any questions over there, Rob?
Yeah, so we had one from Hot Toasted Buns. Shout out to my buddy Nick there. I don't know who that is. Is there any thought to playing some number of Nexus in this Temur deck, Todd, with Explosion as the win con, but not as like the only kind of thing you're doing with Wilderness Reclamation?
Yeah, so here's the thing. People keep asking me, like, basically every time I play the deck, why aren't you playing Nexus of Fate? And there's a good chance that I should be playing 4 Nexus of Fate, you know, but in my head, as far as theory crafting is concerned, I am under the impression that Nexus of Fate is only good if you have a card advantage engine going alongside casting said Nexus of Fate. I think Nexus is insanely good alongside Teferi, here of Dominaria, but I don't think it's good alongside just a big mana generator. Like if you have Reclamation and you cast a Nexus of Fate, you're basically using up 70-80% of the mana that you have for the turn, if not more. So the only thing you're really doing in the meanwhile is casting a Chemist's Insight, maybe, or a Radical Idea or an Opt, or maybe a removal spell. So I think that Nexus is obviously a very strong card, and I think when you also have Teferi in your deck, pairing it with Wilderness with Nexus of Fate is very good, but you just need something that generates value over that extra turn. If you're not actually doing anything with that extra mana, you're not gaining anything by taking an extra turn.
If you look at every single deck that takes advantage of Time Walk effects, they're either decks that get to the battlefield quickly with creatures, so they're taking advantage of the extra attack step, or decks that have ways to draw extra cards every turn. Like Dictate a Crewfix in the modern Taking Turns deck. Turbo Fog, when we saw it last summer, had Teferi and even 1 or 2 Karn Scion of Urza as card advantage engines, planeswalkers that you get to keep activating every turn to pair with their Time Walk effects.
Right.
And when you don't have those, you're basically just casting Explore.
Yeah. All right. 2 more.
All right, one for you, Ross. 187 Annihilation. Instead of going for the blue, do you think a splash for Bedevil and Angrath is also correct?
The red splash is actually the one I'm least partial to right now. I think Hybrid Crisis is just a really powerful card, and Negate is an awesome sideboard card for this week 1, and just an awesome sideboard card in general. So I like those cards for blue. I think white offers several good splashes, notably Night of Autumn and Mortify, which give you really good ways to answer aggressive decks and answer this wide swath of enchantments and artifacts we're seeing, which is good in a sort of unknown week 1 metagame. Bedevil just doesn't add a unique aspect to the deck. It's not enough better than Contempt.
Right.
Angrath, I think, is pretty good.
I think Angrath is very
good.
I think Angrath is a very strong reason to play red.
That one is intriguing. But on the whole, I think red is less attractive than blue or white.
Sure. One more.
All right, and last one from Icy John. What were your favorite 5-0 deck lists from Mitgo the other day?
Well, funny story. All 3 of the decks that Ross is playing today were initially one of those 5-0 decks. The only one that is not currently is the red one that was supplied by Tom Ross. We actually switched that after the fact. I just messaged Tom like, "Hey man, you got a good red deck for me?" And he sent me this. But yeah, I mean, These three, I'm assuming these three were like some of your favorites.
As far as representatives of the different archetypes, for me personally, I liked this list in particular because I think Hydrocrisis is just a really strong card. I also liked Zach Kiney's deck list, which was a Bant, like a pretty heavy ramp deck. You had the Llanowar Elves and Incubation Druid and Growth Spiral, and was ramping into 4 Hydrocrisis and
I
Biojet.
think we're off, guys. Something happened with Twitch.
Oh.
Wait, maybe we're back now.
Maybe. No.
No.
Said something was wrong with the Twitch machine. I'm not sure.
Uh-oh. I think that just meant chat borked for you, but I could be wrong.
We could be on the air right now, and we have no idea.
Yeah, you know. I'm just going to assume that we're on the air, so let's just keep talking.
Okay.
And Rob can tell us if we're not on the air whenever something comes back up. So
he had a bunch of biogenic uses, which is an interesting card to ramp into, and one that I had overlooked. I've seen it in play a few times. It's a pretty impressive card, and a really good mana sink for a deck that generates a lot of mana. And then
what do you think about Wilderness Reclamation with biogenic use? Do you think
I don't
that's good enough?
Probably not, but maybe.
All right,
I think
we're back.
Were we always back, or did we go down?
No, I think it was actually down for people. I'm not sure what happened, but it seems like we're back now.
All right, cool.
Okay, so
we're just talking about
Magic. We're talking about 5.0 lists from the recent MTGO deck dump, and I've liked the decks that start with 4 Llanowar Elves, 4 Incubation Druid, and then figure out what to do with them. They're usually Selesnya based. There were several different variants. I think Zach Kiney's list with 4 Hydrocrisis and Biogenic use is really interesting, but I'm trying to figure out what to do with that. There's some Gruul lists that do it. There's Temur lists that do a lot of different. You can basically play any other colors next to it, but green based.
Personally, Hydrocrisis up there.
Yeah,
for me.
Agreed.
What I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
So. For me, I really like. There was a Mardu Aristocrats deck that went 5.0 that looked really sweet. I know Jim Davis was actually playing on a stream earlier today, and it looked really cool. I think that is it Firelit Fiend or Firefoot Fiend, something like that.
Footlight Fiend.
Footlight Fiend is way better than I thought originally.
Yeah,
way better.
Nice little role player, makes the mana easy. Being able to cast it for black or red. So, and then Hero of Precinct 1 is another card that I really overlooked. There was a cool looking Esper list with it. And it was like Esper Midrange, had Warden, it had Absorb.
Yeah, did it have Deployed...
Depose Deploy? I'm not sure if it did. It had Thief of Sanity and Hostage Taker.
Ooh.
As its other creatures. I'm not sure if it had Dive Down either, but it just a lot of multicolored cards. For Discovery.
Ooh, okay. All right. Now you sold me. All right. I'm good. All right.
It was doing some cool stuff.
Let's go ahead and get to game 2 of this match here between Temur Reclamation and I want to say Sultai Midrange.
Yeah, Sultai Midrange.
There it goes. All right.
This hand looks fine. We're going to need a little bit of help with it. It has one of our better cards in the matchup. So
okay. I'm on the draw here, but my hand is pretty good.
I will Breeding Pool and 2 Llanowar Elves. I'm at 18.
Is that the really good card? The Llanowar Elves?
I mean, Llanowar Elves is just one of the best cards. So. Thank you.
Well, I would be wearing my Bama hoodie right now and getting a lot of compliments, but it's quite hot in here.
Do you know the last time that I wore this card again?
The Alabama National Championship game we lost?
It was the Banefire.
Woo!
remember that one?
I do. I was there for it.
Yeah. Tacky for 1. You're
sorry.
19?
19.
I got a Wild Growth
18.
Walker.
Okay.
That was the last time I wore this. It's been a while.
All right. Well, we don't have any...
I did a whole boatload of laundry yesterday.
Interaction just yet, so we're gonna play Treasure Map.
A literal boatload. I filled a boat.
Went down.
Ooh, that's
down by the riverside.
That's a good card. Merfolk Branch Walker.
Okay.
One can stay there.
Okay, that's gross.
Can't counters all the way around.
So
I'll go to 21. Tacky for 3.
I'm at 16.
And I'll play an Evergreen Tomb tapped.
All right, we're gonna activate
21 to 16.
Treasure Map.
This is on your upkeep.
Yes.
Okay.
A shock off the top. Not bad. Is it good enough? I think it is. Just buys me enough time. And we are going to shock here just to buy me more time. Your turn. Taking care of the elf might be pretty good, but...
Okay. Well, now I have a decision.
Vivian or hold up negate. I feel like you just made your decision.
Well, I'm going to play the Vivian. The decision is whether to minus on the map or plus.
Come on.
Well, you could play like a Reclamation or an Amulet next turn that's scarier.
That's fair.
And you can play a burn spell to deal with the Vivian. Whereas if I plus, bring it to 6, next turn I get to minus on the map still before it transforms and hold up negate to defend it. I kind of like plussing.
Okay.
I'm only giving you an extra scry unless you have double lightning strike or like untap, use 2 burn spells to keep this on 1 if you have strike shock, which I think I'm fine with. So I'm actually going to plus. And I am going to select. I don't know which one of these is better. I think it's Branchwalker though. It's just more selection. It's like Branchwalker or Midnight Reaper. I
Attack
think,
2.
yeah.
At
I
14.
think it's Branchwalker. So 14, 19, and I'll pass the turn.
Pretty sure it's supposed to be a black die, but okay.
No. Whites for +1/+1 counters and
Is this a +1/+1 counter?
or blacks for Planeswalker loyalty and -1/-1 counters. Whites for everything else.
Director ruling is treasure map is whatever.
Okay. All right. I think I'm just gonna draw. I might need the mana. So if I play Primal Amulet here, the problem is I don't get to tick up the treasure map. So I'm going to just play this and say go.
Okay. Draw. I will play a Merfolk Branchwalker.
Yep.
I will explore into another Branchwalker. That's fine, I guess. Keep it. I gain 3, go to 22. I will attack you for 4. Brings you to 10.
I'm gonna play Radical Idea in case I might draw a shock or something I want to cast on that line world.
Sure.
Okay.
Take 4, brings you to 10. I will minus on the treasure map.
Now, I guess scrying is about as good as playing the Radical Idea, so that land, does it do anything?
I'll play a Watering Grave tapped and pass the turn. Now I've got my Vivian on 3. I've got good pressure. I got a negate in hand.
I think it was dead. That Vivian was very good.
I think I have to worry about Niv Mizzet. Maybe I'm supposed to plus this Vivian next turn. You have played your land this turn?
Yes.
So the cards I'm worried about are Niv Mizzet and Star of Extinction here. Currently, I have 7 points, or I guess 8 after this Branchwalker. That'll get you to 2, and I'll have 3 lethal creatures, so I shouldn't be that worried about Niv Mizzet. Unless you have a shock to go along with it. Shock or Lightning Strike, you deal with this Branchwalker, then this is an attack for 5, gets you to 5, and Niv Mizzet then starts doing relevant things. But I think if I just negate this, even if you have a shock, you'd have to have like shock into more removal spells to keep going. So yeah, I think I'll just negate that and keep my Niv Mizzet around, or keep my Vivian around.
Okay.
Maybe I'm missing something. I don't know. Let's plus this first before we explore. Seize more cards. Wow. This.
Negate duress in there.
No, just forced island.
Nice.
Okay, play a Branchwalker.
Yep. I'm dead. I have no outs.
I guess this isn't. Yep, another land. Attack for 8.
At 2.
Brings you, and I'm at 25.
Yep.
And I'll pass the turn.
I actually had Star for a while. Needed to transform the treasure map and also bait you, but I bricked and died. It's a tough game for me. On the play, I think I'm in really good shape because I can threaten to transform that treasure map a turn earlier. And then
Well,
you have to minus the first turn, and that taps you out. Then I play Amulet, and then you have no way to keep the Amulet off the table. My hand was like Chemister, which I really needed to shrink the cost on some way or another. I mean, that's kind of the danger of playing a bunch of cards like that in my deck. I think I'm actually going to side out the Radical Ideas in favor of the Ops here, though, just to give me a little more card selection early to find removal. Again, we were basically flush every game, so I'm not sure how important it is to have the jump start just yet. So in this matchup specifically. Anyway, hit us with a question or two, bro.
Sure. Lowlop91 wanted to know, have you guys seen Brad's Bant monster list from his article today? And if you did, what did you think about it?
I have not, but
Yeah, I've
Bant
seen-
Monster sounds sweet, so
It does sound sweet.
I will be checking that one out when I get an opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, early in the metagame like this, before the first big tournament with just a few scant Magic Online results and stuff, people like Brad have a big enough following that like they can dictate the day one metagame. Like, if Brad's deck just looks insane, there's a good chance that it becomes one of the like top 5 decks at the tournament. And so, we might just end up playing it on Thursday, so just kind of cool.
I might end up playing it on Thursday.
Right.
I've definitely had some issues with the various like Bant style or Selesnya, with maybe Naya style, whatever, like Green X mid-range decks. And then, like I always feel like they do some powerful things, but there's a little bit missing in my list. So maybe Brad has solved my issues.
All right, I'm gonna make a small change here. I'm gonna board a Murmuring Mystic over Niv
I can never beat this card.
because Mystic is really good against Vivian Reed, whereas Niv is pretty bad against Vivian Reed. I'm gonna side out the Ral too. Just
I'm just gonna lose.
I don't know if I can protect it that well.
I'm just gonna lose to Murmuring Mystic.
I hope so, dude. There's a good chance Murmuring Mystic should just be in the deck, the main deck. Like every time I draw it, it's nuts.
Yeah. Every time you play it against me, it just wins the game on the spot.
Yeah. Play more removal, bruh.
You always have one more than I have for rule spells. You draw so many cards.
Do I
Thank you.
keep one land double opt? I think so. My hand is good enough that I think I have to keep this.
Well, I will keep my hand because it's great.
Your turn.
I once again have a turn with Llanowar Elves.
All right. Well, we need to find red. Another blue mana here. I'm gonna keep it just because I want lands, but I'm gonna opt again and look for a red.
Yes.
Come on, go. If I don't do anything, we're gonna play another game. Like if I just miss a land drop here and do nothing, I only have 3 islands in my deck, and basically every other land is good here.
I'm gonna shock to 18, play Wild Growth Walker,
So
and
probably should have
Duress.
mulliganed. Whatever. Reclamation, Mystic, 3 burn spells, and an expansion. You're at 18.
I will take the Lightning Strike, I guess, since that can kill Wild Growth Walker.
All right, I'm gonna start this game over in mulligan. Just if you want to keep your hand, that's fine. I'll just start at 6. But that hand was like super close on keeping or not. I think I have to keep the island, but if I just don't draw red, my hand doesn't do anything. Learning how to mulligan with your deck is also very important.
All right, so another question here.
Yeah.
Solary, do you think there's a possibility for a Temur Drake's deck that plays like Crassus or Incubation or perhaps Rhythm of the Wild?
I don't think it would be a Drake's deck. I think you either play a bunch of creatures or you play a bunch of spells. There's definitely Temur Crisis decks already doing well on Magic Online. So, all right, I'm gonna go 6. That game don't count. It's no fun if I just don't function. It's no fun.
I'm aware. Dude, I'm shuffling up, aren't I?
Yeah, I'm gonna swim all 7 though.
But I'm gonna smirk.
Freaking 5-lander. All right. I'm not really,
Yeah.
not really being very happy right now. My deck's not really cooperating.
This was actually a Christmas gift. Not this past Christmas, but the one before. So you would have to ask my mother, who is probably watching right now, but likely does not have a Twitch account and cannot respond to you in the chat. So I'm sorry.
Okay, keep, go. I'm on 6.
Well, I didn't have the Llanowar Elves, but now I do.
How do you just always have one rolls? Kill it. Go.
Woodland Cemetery, Wild Growth Walker.
Sure. Go.
That's kind of a tilt. Branch Walker.
I'm gonna lightning strike the wild growth in response.
Breeding Pool.
Okay.
Play that tapped. Pass.
Okay, so still 2020.
Yep.
Play an amulet and say go.
Oh no. We don't have an answer to that.
That's good news. Good news for me. Good news for you. I don't have another instant or sorcery in my hand.
Oh, well, I'm gonna play Wild Growth Walker and dress you.
All right, which one you want?
I'll take the Wilderness Reclamation.
Yep.
Play this tapped and attack for 2.
All right, I'm at 18.
Pass the turn.
Breeding pool, second amulet. Let's go. And now I really wish I had radical ideas. So, Huh.
Ooh, that was a pretty good one.
Treasure map here just feels bad. Maybe I should just not have treasure map in my deck, or maybe even in my sideboard at all. Huh.
Let's start on Branch Walker.
Sure.
That's a land. And then this will get a counter, and I'm going to gain 9 total this turn.
All right, so
That's
you're
a forest.
29.
That's a swamp.
I'll take
Attack for 6.
6.
So I'm at 29, you're at 12.
All right, chain them off. Go. Well, this is certainly the fail rate of the deck, and that's why we have so many radical ideas and stuff. But it's not like we, sided.
You go to 2.
None of these cards would have been radical ideas. So I'm at 2 already. How'd that happen?
I mean, I just attacked you
Alright.
for 6 and
Yeah,
then
yeah,
10.
yeah, yeah. Do you have a negate?
No, I have 3 lands and a find.
Nice.
You can go.
Get them back.
That's not doing anything.
Oh no. Ooh, we're doing it. Draw 2.
Oh God.
Dead. Okay.
Okay.
So-
you can chemisters again.
Sure. I can't kill all these, I don't think.
If you end up flipping these, if you hit like radical idea, you're
Radical
Like I
ideas
said.
are all sided out. That's the problem.
yeah.
Nope.
So you'd have to hit opt into opt.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's the problem. If either of these radical idea it would be radical idea plus transform it plus shock 3 things. Or I can only shock 2 things, but interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You still need to kill all 4 things.
I
So
needed to have something on the follow-up turn to amulet other than just amulet. Okay. Treasure map shouldn't be in the deck, I don't think. After sideboard specifically. I think
Yeah.
just giving myself more artifacts and enchantments that just keep making me more and more vulnerable to disenchant effects is not great.
yeah, because like when they kill your map and then you have amulet, now you don't have enough things to flip it. The amulet's not doing anything.
Right. What's
So-
our clock at right now? Do we have time to just play another game of this?
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay.
It's 1:45 right
All right, I'm gonna trim these 3 treasure maps, and I'm gonna keep the mystics. I think they are a good alternate plan of buying me time, and if you don't kill it, just gives me infinite.
Maybe what you need is some fiery cannonades just to clear up the little things.
Maybe, but I think mystic
Yeah.
does that pretty well.
That's true.
All right, let's get a question in. Maybe star is not good enough because I'm not doing the maps.
Not so much pertaining to this game, but Hearn Deline wanted to know why did you guys start playing competitive Magic? Or what got you to become a professional Magic player, I guess was.
I didn't like doing anything else.
Same.
I mean, I did a lot of things, and none was as fun as playing Magic. So
I never really set out to be a professional. I was just playing Magic while not doing much else. And eventually people started offering me money to write articles. By people, I mean Cedric.
I mean, I've been playing Magic since I was like 12, and I was, there was a couple years here and there where I had no one to play with because I lived in nowhere in the middle of Georgia. There was like a year where I didn't really play because I was in college and no one around me played.
Yeah, I didn't
don't
play
know.
as much in college. I got back into it after I graduated in 2010, and that's when I started queuing for Pro Tours, and then the SCG Tour, then the Open Series came around. Started grinding that in 2012. I don't know. Eventually, just started winning enough that people cared who I was.
Yeah, I mean, when you put up results and there's a market for your ideas. All right, one more.
All right, we got one from Frodo here. Would Frilled Mystic be too taxing on the mana base for this deck, and is it at all useful
In what deck?
in the Temur deck? Sorry.
The question with cards like Mystic is, can you use the body? And I don't think that you can use the body very well in this deck, so I'm just gonna say no.
The one thing I do like about Frilled Mystic is that it's a counterspell that doesn't get negated.
I'm gonna keep, but there's a chance I don't do anything.
I will also keep.
Go.
Because once again, I have turn 1 Land Elves.
Yeah, 5 games in a row. Okay.
AT.
If I don't
Oh,
draw a
fuck.
land, I'm gonna be really mad.
It's like 5 games in a row, 40% a clip. You're looking at 16, 6.4, another 16% of
Just
that.
keep on.
You're
come
about- you're-
on.
Well, I'm a little over a percentage point.
A little over 1% to
Yeah,
turn 1 elf.
little-
Yeah. It's
little
almost like people shuffling is not random.
with mulligan decisions and things like that, it goes up. Maybe it's closer to 2.
Okay.
I also do the second land where I was there when I just had the tapped land, so that was cool.
Nice.
This is an awkward turn because I have these Wild Growth Walkers I want to cast, but I also want a Jade Light so I can hit land drops. But I think I have to just Jade Light to hit land
Always
drops.
Jade Light.
That's
Yep.
good. And that one, because I don't have a 5th land, I don't really think I can keep it.
Gas.
I guess next turn I get 2 draws at it. Yeah, no, I'm gonna keep it.
Okay.
Pass the turn.
Land.
So
Alright.
this is
Shock
2.
myself.
18 all.
All right. I'm gonna play Mystic and say go. This shit only has 1 counter on it. Cheater.
Oh yeah, I hit a land first. My bad.
It's okay.
I thought I just hit the Vivian.
We all know
twice.
you're a cheater. It's okay. Turn one elf 5 times in a row. Cheater. What cost 4? Crassus?
Yep.
Okay.
Gain a life.
Yep. So you're at 21?
Pass the turn. I'm at 19. I shocked on turn 1.
Oh, sure. So you might have Vivian here. So I think the best course is
You know
just
I have
playing
Vivian.
Well, you don't have you might have
Yeah.
the land for the Vivian.
Sure.
So I think the best course of action is just playing another Mystic and saying go.
Jeez. At this point, the Vivian's not really doing a whole lot, so I don't have a ton of incentive to draw
16.
towards it. Whereas I think if I just make a... so hard to beat the second Mystic. Just makes so many tokens. But I think I have to whittle my way down on them. So let's try to build up some Wild Growth Walkers.
Yep, love it.
Just don't cast Radical Idea.
I'm gonna shoot this for 1 and draw a card.
That's pretty good. I hope I draw Jade Light Ranger.
Go. I mean, I got 2 Mystics, man. All I gotta do to check the Wild Growth Walker is literally play 1 instant every turn. Think I got it. Think I got it. You draw the second or third Vivian.
Nope, I drew the 4th Wild Growth Walker.
Nice, dude. Let's go.
I had 2 when I played the Jade Light. I've drawn 2 more since then.
We can go to game 6. You want to go to game 6?
No, we're gonna go to break after this,
Okay.
and I'm pretty close to done.
Yeah, me too,
I
man.
am gonna
Me too.
play Midnight Reaper and attack you for 2.
Yeah, I'm at 14.
Pass the turn. That's not good.
I'm not gonna trade there. I can just kill your Midnight Reaper like at any point that I want to.
Shh. It's gonna be okay.
Primal Amulet.
Yep.
I'm gonna attack.
17.
Go. Kind of want him to duress me.
Attack.
All right, Lightning Strike the Midnight Reaper.
Draw a card.
Yep. You're at 16. I get
Yep.
2 birds. And I will double block this Jade Light and double block this Crassus.
Take 2.
Yeah, I'm at 12. Two more popular
Go.
monsters.
We're doing it. We're just gonna gain so much life. Todd can't win, right? That's how this works.
You know,
Maybe once I gain a bajillion life, this card will do
Ross,
something.
You forgot your birds for the lightning strike.
No,
no, I blocked the Crassus.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Come on, people. All right, let's go. Chemister, 2 birds. All right, we're gonna do untap bird, tap bird. So we got
4 untapped bird.
4 untap. Let's draw 2 cards. Yeah, but 2 have something 6, so let's go like this. Come on. What are you doing to me?
Sick, unsick, different dice. Summoning sick. Not sick. Just put me out of my misery, Todd.
All right, 2 of you.
14.
Go. So imagine how insane my draw would be right now if at any point I had a Wilderness Reclamation.
12.
Results.
Kill this thing.
In response, I'm gonna shock at Vivian, copy it, and 2 to you. Transform this into
Right.
this.
If you just send both shocks at me, I'm dead on board.
How?
Because you make 2 birds for each spell. Gives you 8
4, 6,
birds,
8.
and I'm at 12. You
How'd
just
you
deal.
at 14?
No, I shocked to play the Vivian.
Oh, okay. Cool. You're dead.
Yeah, shock me twice, get me to 8, make 4 more birds, 8 birds. A lot of birds.
Okay. So we're learning. We learned a lot in that 5-game set. You know, I learned that treasure map Niv not really that good after sideboard, makes me more vulnerable to things like Vivian Reed, because I'm like basically too one-dimensional and the cards don't really work well together.
And that's not too much of a surprise. When you have an engine in your main deck, you can't bring in too many things that are different than the engine.
Right.
Like maybe Niv is okay even without map, but map was the offender there, just being another card that died to the same things that people were already coming into target and didn't really advance your either game plan that well.
Yeah, it doesn't really work with Reclamation or Primal Amulet, or even like Murmuring Mystic or whatever. It's just like another card that, I mean, treasure map's always been this one thing that just kind of does its own thing, and if your opponent interacts with it, that kind of sucks, but it's not that big of a deal. But when your entire deck is focused on this one strategy, and you have this treasure map kind of doing its own thing, and like your draw is kind of anemic because you're relying on that treasure map, and the rest of your deck is not a normal deck. So things just start to fall apart. It cascades quickly. We lost one game because we kept a loosey goosey, the one island double opt hand. I think if we draw a red source, we get to like Cold as Lenore Elf, Lightning Strike is Wild Growth Walker, and we're like perfectly in it. Our hand was really, really powerful, but we just drew a bunch of we drew an island and like a bunch of 4-drops, so we couldn't cast. But that's kind of the problem with playing Chemisters, Wilderness Reclamation, and Primal Amulet. You have this glut at 4, and if you don't hit your 4th land drop, like you're in some trouble. So,
How many lands are in your deck?
24.
Reasonable number when you're trying to hit 4 lands and you have a bunch of cantrips.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I mean, I think you're gonna miss sometimes, and that's just magic. But
24 sounds about right to me.
Yeah.
Okay. Sultai deck looked pretty good on the normal. Golgari stuff is going well. Both blue cards performed quite well.
Yep.
Krasis isn't great in this matchup, but it was still fine. It was better than like additional removal would be. Sometimes the life gain could be relevant, but the negates out of the sideboard were excellent. So I just had that one negate in game 2 that was really good. So and the mana was perfectly fine. So
yeah, so I'm noticing a lot of things. I'm gonna basically try to compile all my thoughts and for the end of the day. But in this particular matchup, I don't think I had enough interaction with the creatures to buy me enough time, and I think I was a little too fragile to either a disenchant or a negate. So that's not great. And I had to get kind of lucky in game 1 to win. So yeah, there's a lot to think about. Anyway, we're going to take a short break here. We'll be back for match 2. We're going to be pitting my Temur Reclamation deck against, I believe, the big red deck, or the little red deck.
Yeah, mono red.
Yep. Yeah, it has a black splash, but it's very light. But we'll be right back with that match.